Hey everyone, my name is Frank Perron. So my project was on Iran's IRGC and just determining whether or not they were legitimate or a terrorist organization. So this interested me because it's something I'm somewhat familiar with. During my time in overseas in 2018, we focused heavily on Iran, their proxies, the Hezbollah, the Houthis, any other Shia militia group, you name it. That was just our core focus. So a lot of my research came from what we gave to our general during our formal briefings. Initially, I thought that they were a terrorist organization, just based off of how we usually classify them. So when I went into the research, what I wanted to do was find anything that went against my argument, so that I could remove any of my bias. So what I first did was I initially went into the JCPOA and how we withdrew from it in 2018. I dug into that and determined what the outcome of that was, the political atmospherics. Following that, I started to go into the classification of the IRGC and the IRGC-QF as a terrorist organization by ourselves, Bahrain, and other Gulf Cooperation Council members such as Saudi Arabia, you name it, from 2018, early 2019 when we made that classification. Because to me, I wanted to dig into the politicking of it and anything that I could find as far as documents from Congress from that era where we could see how and why they justified these based off of foreign transactions, all these offshore accounts, and how the RGC has connections with all these foreign entities within Iran, and how they may be reallocating those funds, and how Congress decided that they are in fact a terrorist organization based off of their definitions. So from there, I wanted to find out how they classified them as a terrorist organization based off of those documents versus, what we know from our texts and from our lectures of legitimacy and just having some sort of political entity behind you to give you that legitimacy. So once I started digging into that, I was able to find they did have some sort of legitimacy. The IRGC and the IRGCQF, I was able to find out that they do work on behalf of Iran, but it's a very strange asymmetric type style. So the IRGC, from what I could gather, is very similar to something like the CIA or like a mafia. It's like this giant concoction, this combination of all these things. And they don't report to the president of Iran. They usually report to the supreme leader, which is a religiously appointed person, almost like an imam of sorts for Iran, since they are an Islamic regime. So they answer to the supreme leader, but it was strange because everything you find, I don't know if you guys remember, Qasem Soleimani. He used to be the old IRGC-QF commander, which was he was someone who would work with someone like the U.S. if it benefited Iran, or go against us if it worked for his country, just like any other leader. But he had free reign and everything was very self-autonomous, where whatever he wanted to do, he got done. He didn't have to really go through anyone. So in that sense, the IRGC has some sort of legitimacy, but they also work on their own and don't really answer to anybody when it comes to certain elements of it. So something like that is what really sparked my interest, where it made me think maybe they are, maybe they aren't. Based off of what I do for work now, initially I wanted to also dig into the narco terrorism side of it and essentially just see what they do as far as terrorism financing through the smuggling of illegal narcotics, maybe using Dow boats to bring oil from A to B, since we have blockades and sanctions. So when I dug into all of these things, these are key elements that I used to create my research, determining how the IRGC operates compared to the traditional Iranian military, and how they may differ from other terrorist organizations. So for me, it was a very opinionated type of paper. You could go either way. There was no right or wrong answer. But based off of the information I was able to find from all these court documents, examples of what the IRGC has done, to me they seemed legitimate, but used illegitimate and covert means to obtain their goals by using shell companies, terrorism financing. So it almost seemed like they were actors of Iran in some sort. Maybe they do answer to them. We don't know. we have limited information, but we could see that the IRGC did work on behalf of Iran, had that legitimacy. The only issue is their activity. It was more or less just a state-sponsored terrorism type scenario where yes, the IRGC and the QF do work on behalf of Iran's strategic interests and their defense strategies, but the way they go about it was very nefarious. So that's just a little bit of my research and what I was able to find. I used about 20 different sources. It was ungodly insane. I could have written something that was maybe 25 pages I've seen novels on all of this, but the down and dirty nitty gritty of what I was able to find, this was it. And to me, it was a very interesting paper because I was able to go back off what I knew from 2018, dig into that, and then find out supplementary additional information that has happened since then, since I haven't really tracked them since 2019. So that 2 year gap, I was able to get a lot of information on what the U.S. has done, what Iran has done. I've been able to see things as far as their insertion into South America and what that means for the international community as a whole. So overall, it was a pretty awesome research paper. I'm really excited to share it with you guys, and just let me know what you all think. I hope you guys had a good semester, and I'll see you all around. Take it easy.